Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first Devstream and Devstream Recap of the year 2025. My name is MHBlacky. I had way too much coffee before the stream, and you sure are going to witness that in this video, so hold your horses. But we do have a whole lot to talk about here. We have a brand new Warframe. We have a brand new PRIME Warframe. We have a brand new Warframe update, including not only the new Warframe, but also 13 new Infested Lich Weapons, 4 new Technocyte Weapons, 4 brand new proto-frame characters, so that's going to be a handful, and way more. In this Devstream recap, we're going to talk about all of that, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. Alright, usually I would start with the big news first because that tends to be the thing that most people care about, but because we have so many different topics to talk about today, there's some smaller stuff that I want to get out of the way first. However, if you almighty don't care, that's no problem. There will be timestamps in the video description so you can skip ahead to what you really want to know. And with that being said, let's jump into a first couple of smaller, shorter topics, which might though be pretty darn interesting for some of you out there, starting out with the Warframe Wiki. One thing that I think we can all agree on is that the site where it's currently hosted, fandom.com or what the host site is called, this is kind of a garbage site with a lot of very intrusive ads every time you click on it. It's super annoying, and this was really big news for me. I did not see that coming for 2025. The Warframe Wiki, going forward, will be officially hosted by Digital Extremes on their own official website, wiki.warframe.com. Apparently, this website is already online, but it seems there are some server issues, so I cannot show you any footage of the website right now. However, this ongoing project will take the wiki from the very annoying fandom wiki thing into an official Warframe domain, where we're not gonna have all that garbage. And I don't know about you, but where I come from, this is a big W. Next, let's talk about Tennocon 2025 because we got all the important infos that you want to know if you're interested in attending. Tennocon 2025 is going to happen on 2 days, and that's July 18th to 19th this summer, same location as usual, but there is also more. The ticket sale is going to start from February 7th, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, so if you really want your physical tickets to go there live in person, that's the day you want to mark red in your calendar because those tickets tend to be sold out relatively quickly, so don't take all too much time. This year, they're going to have Make-A-Wish as their main charity, and this is something really incredible because Tennocon 2025 is going to be the 10th anniversary of Tennocon. They didn't spare any costs, and they will give us a full-fledged Warframe-themed concert, not in the venue itself. They actually rented out a whole arena in the city where we're going to be able to go attend a concert with Warframe-themed music the entire night long. That's going to happen on July 18th, and Rebecca herself might just play the bass in the band for some time because that's something apparently that she does. So the Tennocon 2025 is gonna be jam-packed. This right here is an overview of the different ticket tiers that you can buy. The standard ticket is $50. Remember, all of this is Canadian dollars, so you kind of divide it by 10 and that's your local currency then. And one thing they did mention is that they're not going to have those collector tickets as a special item anymore. Instead, this collector thing, which is going to be $25 extra, can just be added as an add-on to your standard ticket. So you don't have to worry about the collector tickets being sold out or anything anymore. It's just like an extra thing that you can book on top if you like. Up next, let's talk about Rhino Heirloom. We've seen the concept art for quite some time already. This right here is how Rhino Heirloom looks in the game, and before you click off, it's more than just the skin we're talking about here, because there are some very interesting cosmetic changes about all the rhinos in the game coming up with the Heirloom skin too. First of all, Rhino Heirloom is going to release on February 6th, so that's not that much longer in the future. And just like with the Ember Heirloom, you can buy it for plat in the market, you can buy it for real-life Freedom Eagle paper money, and just like with the Ember Heirloom as well, this one is also not going to be time-limited, so you can buy it whenever you want in the future. There is no FOMO. Rhino also has his signature Signa, which looks pretty good on Dagoth right here. I think this is going to be one of the top picks for other frames going forward. Really like the design of it. And this is the big news for all Rhino fans out there, not just the owner of the Heirloom. We now can select which visual of the Iron Skin we want to have on our Warframe. As you probably know, depending on which version of Rhino you have, whether it be the normal or the Prime one or some special skin for him, the Iron Skin looks on Rhino will be different. Some of these iron skins look good and other ones not so much. But going forward, as long as you own the skin that the certain iron skin look is connected to, you can switch out the iron skins of other Rhino skins to mix and match what you think is the best visual for your liking. Next, let's talk about Nightwave. The next Nightwave season will start February 16th, which means you don't have much more time to finish the current Nightwave season. What that means is, if you still have unspent Nightwave credits from your current Nightwave, make sure to just throw them out the window at whatever you can get, because once this Nightwave ends, those credits will be worthless. The next Nightwave is going to be Warframe 1999 themed. That I think comes to absolutely nobody's surprise, and we can here already see some of the rewards that will be available. Then some other smaller stuff. On February 6th, we're also going to have 2 more in-game events that will start. The first one being a rerun of Belly of the Beast, meaning you can farm the 6th Scythe skin from Jade, this thing that you're seeing right here in the background. Very cool one. You're going to be able to farm that, as well as all the Arcanes that you can get from Belly of the Beast. It's actually one of the events that's pretty good to farm Arcanes fast, so keep that one in mind. February 6th, as well as the Valentine's event, Star Days, where you're going to get Star Days stuff. And finally, this February 6th event is also going to bring a code fix, which makes it specifically that some of you who got stuck in the 1999 quest on certain platforms because the game keeps on crashing at a certain point over and over again. I put out a community post the other day about this. This will officially going to get fixed alongside with some other crashes and bug fixes in the February 6th update. So hopefully you're going to be able to enjoy the game again very, very soon. And as always, it would also be very nice of you if you were to let me enjoy a like under the video, because it helps me big time with the YouTube algorithm. So big cheers to all of your support. But alright friends, those were the quote-unquote smaller term topics. Nonetheless, they are pretty interesting though. Let's now talk about the big one, the big elephant in the room, that being the next major update called not Echoes of 1999, but Techrot Encore. This one is going to be the next big Warframe update. It is going to launch in March 2025, so it's going to be a few more weeks going forward. But as we now go into what this update will all bring, you will probably understand why it needed some more time cooking. First of all, what it will bring is new cosmetic options for the Operator and the Drifter. We're gonna have new hairstyles available, those being the ones from the Hex as well as Lloyd, which I personally think is really cool. If you wanted to, you can now make your Drifter look like your favorite Hex member and kinda sorta pretend to play as this Hex member themselves. Very nice. And in addition, we're gonna get 2 Scaldra-themed outfits also for the Operator and the Drifter. I personally kinda like this one right here. I might just ditch the old Grineer armor for it. Let's just see how it's gonna look like once it releases. But now, let's get to the big ones. The Technocyte Coda system, the Infested Liches. As previously announced, there will be 13 Technocyte Coda weapons, that being the Infested Lich Weapons. But mainly what I want to do right here is explain how the whole process of obtaining these Infested Lich Weapons works, start to finish, so how about we jump into that right now. In contrast to the Grineer and Corpus Lich weapons, these ones are not directly obtained from taking out the Lich themselves. Instead, you get them from a vendor, this one being Eleanor in the Abandoned Mall. She's going to have a new dialogue option where you can get into the Technocyte weapons, and similar to the Ergo Glass thing where you can currently buy some of the Corpus Lich weapons, also here, you're not getting the weapon drop itself, but instead, when you take out the Lich, you get a currency that you can then use to buy one of the weapons from Eleanor right here. One Lich will always drop enough currency to instantly get one of the Technocyte weapons of your choosing. Now, you might think, if you can't generate the weapon itself from the Lich, that means you don't have any control over which element the weapon is gonna have, and that sucks. However, I think they came up with a really nice solution for this here. Yes, the weapon that you buy will have a preset element that you don't have any control over. However, once you level the weapon up all the way to 40, that means you invested 5 forma into it, you can use a new item that will also be available from Eleanor or for Platinum from the market to then change the elemental progenitor of that Lich weapon to whichever element you like. And yes, this does not only happen for the Technocyte weapons, this item can also be used on your Grineer and Corpus Lich weapons, which is very nice if you, in post, want to change the elemental progenitor of a weapon that you already have. I think this is a big W. But now, let's talk about how the whole process of Lich hunting works. First of all, hunting Infested Liches is not going to work like the Gyre and Corpus Liches, meaning you're not going to use the previously needed Requiem mods on your Parazon. Instead, you're going to have a new type of Parazon mod, those being called antivirus mods, that you need for the Technocyte coda. But before you get angry, obtaining these mods seems to be more streamlined than for the Requiem mods, where there's going to be a new Warframe 1999 bounty that you can access from them all, and then those mods will just be a reward from doing this specific bounty. I think it's a better way to go about this. Now, one other thing that they said is that you can kind of combine those quote-unquote new antivirus Requiem mods with another mod type called potency mods, which kind of sort of have some influence to make the Lich hunt faster, but I didn't really understand it. I think we're gonna have to take a look at it once it's out for more details. But to me, generally, it seems that the whole Parazon modding is not gonna be as tedious anymore as it was for the Gyre and Corpus Liches. As for how to generate your Lich in the first place, that's going to be pretty darn simple. You go do a Warframe 1999 mission against the Techrot, and during this mission there's a certain item that can drop, which you can then pick up, insert it into a console to then kind of sort of get this computer virus going and thereby generate your personal Lich, which you will then, similar to the Gyre and Corpus Liches, hunt down and make angry for a couple of times by doing those missions. And then at some point there's going to be a little boss fight in the mission where you can test if you have the right Parazon mods on your Parazon, similar as with the Kuva Liches. And once you finally have the right combination, there's going to be a big Railjack showdown, which was pretty much the thing that they showed at Tennocon last year. But that's not it, there is more. All the Infested Liches are guaranteed to always spawn with the cosmetic options too. This can either be floofs, custom emotes, or also ephemeras. There's not going to be any Infested Lich who doesn't at least have one of these things. However, even though 13 Lich weapons is quite impressive, we get even more guns, those being 4 more Scaldra themed weapons, which I think is really cool. First of all, we get a pistol right here. We didn't see all too much of the weapon, so please forgive me for not having more footage right here. They're gonna have the sickle from those really annoying melee Scaldra enemies, another AK-ish looking assault rifle, and then that big spicy grenade launcher here. So much for the new Lich system. Once it's out, I'm gonna make sure to give you a full guide, start to finish, just like I did with the Kuva Liches, on also how to do the Technocyte coda. So in case you don't want to miss that day one, then you know where the subscribe button is. Welcome to the crew. And now let's talk a little bit more about cosmetics, because there will be plenty in the next update too. First of all, we're going to have a Gyre Deluxe skin, which is going to be very steampunky. I think it looks very cool, especially also with her signature weapon. That's going to be a perfect match for the Intrati Labs tile set. And if you like the whole 1999 aesthetic, then you will be thrilled to know that there's going to be a lot of decoration coming with the next update that you can then place in your dojo and everything. And it's going to be super 1999. I think all the dojo designers out there will be happy to see this. Up next, let's talk about the next Prime Warframe, which to nobody's surprise is, drumroll, Lavos Prime. Yeah, I think we all expected that, but I gotta say I'm really impressed by this Prime design. Usually, Primes look nicer than their normal version, but Lavos Prime, like, holy moly, he really blew me right out the window, and I can't wait to get my hands on him. See, the thing is, I kind of really never played Lavos. I know a lot of people like him, and I know that he's a good Warframe, but I'm gonna be real with you, his visual design kind of never really was for me personally, so I just ended up not playing him. But this Prime design, holy moly, am I the only one, or does he look really darn spicy? So yeah, I'm gonna cut the yapping here. Lavos Prime is gonna release February 12th, so it's also not that much longer. And of course, he will come with his Prime signature weapons, those being the Cedo, about which I have recently made a video, and I'm pretty sure the Prime version is gonna be even more busted, although it kind of looks the same as the normal one on this picture here. And he is also going to get the Zoran Prime, which is going to have a special effect, that being that if you do spinny attacks, their speed is going to be bigger, as a throwback to all the spin to win playstyle fans from back in the day. Once the whole set releases, I'm of course going to jump right in and work on making an up-to-date Lavos guide. If you don't want to miss out on that day one, I'm going to say it again, welcome to the crew, and we're also going to talk about the Zoran Prime. Probably not the Cedo, because I just made a guide on it, but what do you think about him? Do you like the Prime design, or am I the only one who is a little freaked out about it? Let me know in the comments down below. And now that we're already talking about new Warframes, how about we talk about our next original new Warframe, who will also be released with the Technocyte Coda update in March, and their name will be Temple. I don't know if they're going to be male or female, it was kind of not really that obvious to me, but they will be an electric guitar-themed Warframe with their own like infested guitars, and they're going to have plugs on their fingertips. It's going to be a really crazy design right here. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with the kit of this Warframe. However, they didn't give all too much detail on them in this dev stream. We're going to get all the news as well as more details on what will be in the next update in the February dev stream, which will be on February 28th. And of course, just like with this dev stream, I'm also going to cover it and give you all the infos right afterwards. Oh yeah, and did I mention that they said that we're gonna get 4 additional brand new proto-frame characters with the next update too? That's crazy, right? We're gonna have the Hex Syndicate plus 4 new ones. However, until now they didn't say which Warframes those proto-frames will be based on, so we're gonna also have to wait till the February dev stream on that, where they're also gonna reveal whether there will be romance options for those ones, and I was really not expecting that. I can't wait to have more proto-frames available. And last, but definitely not least, I want to talk about quality of life. And before you click away, this is not going to be unimportant stuff that you quickly mention at the end. There are some real bangers in here that a lot of you will like big time. So let's jump right into it. First of all, if you like the romance and the chat system in general, there will be more conversations once you are at the max rank with a certain character. And if you succeeded in romancing one of the characters, there will be more dynamics in where they can actually be in your back room, so they're not just going to stand in one location, they can move around, they're going to have multiple locations to kind of sort of make this whole thing a bit more organic. If you ask me, that is a big W. Next, and I totally did not see that coming, they're going to make it that every single defense mission in the entire game is no longer going to be 5 waves. They're going to cut it down to intervals of 3 waves to streamline the whole duration, make the thing go a bit faster, similar to in the Delivery Circuit. So I think that's also a big W, especially for those Archon Hunt defenses. Boy, they always took ages to finish. I'm sure most of you will also like it. However, with the next update, I'm not so sure if everybody is gonna like it, and that is they're gonna finally rework how pseudo-exalted weapons in the game work. They've announced it a long time ago, and now they got to it. Now, first of all, this is going to be a very big topic, and they kind of didn't share all too much info here, so I'm not going to stir the pot and make any crazy predictions here. What they did say, though, is that certain pseudo-exalted interactions are no longer going to be working, especially for frames like, for example, Korra, like Ashe. However, they are going to make it that all exalted weapons in the game will now be able to use arcane slots, which should be a pretty drastic buff, and I am totally here for it. More info on how the whole thing is going to turn out, though, will also be given in the February dev stream. Okay, the next one is going to be a big W for each and every one of us. Aura formats that were previously used to give a universal polarity to the aura slot of our Warframe so that we can pretty much use any aura we want and it would always match the polarity. Those are now going to be renamed into Omni formats, and the cool thing here is you can no longer only put them in the aura slot, now you can put them in every single mod slot on your weapons and Warframes. This is amazing because it essentially means we no longer have to get multiple copies of the same weapon or Warframe if we want to have fundamentally different builds on them, which is one of the very few things that I think the first Descendant ever did better than Warframe, and I'm happy that they finally brought this big change to us as well. Can't wait to have it, it's going to be amazing. One thing though, those Omni formats cannot work with Umbra polarities, so if you want to use Umbra mods, you're still going to have to get the Umbra format. Up next, and this is a short one, we'll get 30 more Riven mod capacity. That's great for all the Riven collectors out there. But we get even more big wins. For example, we're now going to get an option in our mod selection where if we want to dissolve mods into endo or credits, we don't have to hand select them each and every time individually. There will now be an option where we can select all the duplicate mods that we want all at once, and it's even going to come with some sliders on how many duplicates do you want to keep for yourself, and do you want to exclude this and that type of mod. To me, this looks very great, but they did say you gotta be careful with this still. If you make a mistake here and accidentally get rid of mods that you wanted to keep, the support team will not be able to help you with this and you might just screw yourself over, so be careful when using this system going forward. And then the final thing that they shared, and this is especially close to my heart, going forward, we're going to be able to have this auxiliary setting for making invisibility not actually invisible so that we can see our fashion while being invisible. That setting will be available on every single Warframe, not only on those which have innate stealth capabilities, which is also something that I personally was waiting for quite a while, and I'm happy to finally see it coming. Whew, that was quite a handful. Let me know in the comments down below which of the new upcoming changes and reveals are most exciting for you. Would be very curious to hear your opinions on it. We see each other, hopefully in the next one, and until then, as always, good loot and have a great start into the weekend. Bye bye.